Hello everyone, my name is Patrick and I am finally, well not finally, barely on YouTube at all, but you may know me from Twitter though, which I go on a lot. So today I am doing commentary and I will be taking the political compass test. See if I'm really as leftist as I think I am. And I'm gonna be honest. There's a lot about this quiz I don't like. For one, there's no middle option. And a lot of people have a problem with this. There are some issues, some political issues, which I haven't made my mind upon. So, I don't know. It's gonna be hard for some of them. Let's just begin this. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations. Strongly agree. I'd always support my country whether it was right or wrong. Now this is, if you disagree with this, if you agree with this, not disagree, then you are. I don't support my country right now. I don't. Okay, if my country turns into a dictatorship, which is just terrorizing everyone, then why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't you? If you agree with this question, please tell me why, whether you're left or right, because I have seen some right-wingers definitely say, strongly disagree to this. Believe it or not. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it. I don't know. I wouldn't say so because I think people should be proud of anything, including stuff that they don't have control over. I'm proud that I'm an atheist, and I'm also proud that I'm a human. Technically, I would say I'm proud to be straight, but that's debatable. Same with white, and same with male. But still, our race has many superior qualities compared with other races. Strongly disagree. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Now this is a weird thing. I don't 100% know what it means. Well, I do, but it's hard to figure out. I'm gonna disagree because I heard it's a bad representation, but it might do this. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified. Shockingly, I am going to agree with this. Because sometimes, if it says always, no. But sometimes you have to take action in the weirdest way. It's a weird thing to say. There is a worrying Sorry about this. There is a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. I disagree, actually. There might be a good fusion, but it doesn't really seem worrying. It seems like morals are getting more attention and everything. Yeah, sometimes they go over the top of them, but I think it's enough to call it this. But I do understand why people think that's a worrying fusion. So I totally respect your opinion if you agree with that statement. Next page. Now for economy. Okay, this is going to be interesting. People are ultimately more divided by class than by nationality. I agree, but honestly, they're divided by both. More divided by class, yes, but both are a strong contender. I mean, they're both division. So it could go either way, to be honest. But I do think they are divided more by class. They shouldn't be. Well, they shouldn't be divided by either, but still. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment. I'm actually going to agree with this. And you may be surprised by this. But honestly, the prices are going up. And if we can control inflation, like more money getting drifted in, then we can control unemployment more. Controlling inflation more leads to controlling unemployment more, in my opinion. I understand why someone would disagree with me, but honestly, I think that controlling inflation is better. And yeah, because corporations cannot be trusted to protect the environment, they require regulation. Strongly agree. I hate when people disagree with this, because it's just the most weirdest thing ever. Complicated, yes, but they need to be done. These corporations, some of them can get really corrupt and treat their workers so badly. That's one. And again, some of them can't be trusted to be environmentally friendly, protect the environment, all that stuff. It's just wrong. From each according to his ability, to each according to his need is a fundamentally good idea. Agree, but not strongly, because this definitely has flaws. The free of the market, the free of the people. Strongly disagree. It's a sad reflection in our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled branded consumer product. Technically, I don't think bottled water is that great. What I think is tap water is. I'm not sure about this one. I'm gonna disagree, but definitely not strongly. This is one of the ones which I think I would be better off putting a middle option if it was there. Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. Strongly agree. I don't actually see that many people agree with this one, but I strongly agree with this. I'm a socialist, and I think something as simple as land, they shouldn't be marketable. It's a natural source worth for doing natural stuff to, and just like people advertising land, it's just not right. Like, land belongs to all animals, not just humans. So all is making land cost money is going against nature. I really mean that. It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to our society. Strongly agree. Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. I would say yes, sometimes, but rarely. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders. Strongly disagree. It should be our responsibility, but not the only responsibility. The rich are too highly taxed. Strongly disagree. Those with the ability to pay should have higher standards of medical care. Strongly disagree. Disagree. We don't have this as a reason why we have the NHS in the UK. People who can't pay may be going through a hard time. The fact that there are countries which still make us pay for healthcare is barbaric to me. It's just horrible. I really don't get it. The American system, it scares me. People keep saying it's not as bad as it sounds. I've heard from people. It's not as bad as it sounds. But it sounds super terrible. If it is not as bad as it sounds, then it's not as bad as it sounds. But still, government should penalise businesses that mislead the public. Strongly agree. A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies. Strongly agree. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal. Strongly disagree. All authority should be questioned. Strongly agree, and anyone who presses disagree is the most closed-minded and obedient person I've ever seen. An eye for an eye, and a tooth for a tooth. Strongly disagree. Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theatres or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis. You know what? I don't really care what they do it on. I'm going to press disagree, but definitely not strongly, because honestly, I don't care. I just want capitalism gone. Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory. This is one of a we struggle on, because as you know, I'm a sixth former, I'm in school now. My attendance is pretty good. But, should they make it my attendance compulsory? Right now, during COVID? No! But in general, I think it's good. I think, yes. I'm gonna disagree with this. Because honestly, children should be in school, they should have their education. And some children just regularly sneak out and spectacularly skip school when people have bad attendance is not good at all. So yeah, I would say that schools should make classroom attendance compulsory. All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should stick to their own kind. Strongly disagree. Good parents sometimes have to spank their children. Strongly disagree. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents. Agree. And it's completely fine. It's completely fine to keep secrets from your parents. I mean, I kept a lot of secrets myself. I don't think it's bad. Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense. I'm gonna agree with this, but I'm not that because it seems true, but I'm not that educated on drugs in general and the drug war and everything. So I'm going to agree with this, but I'm open to having my mind changed because I'm again not that educated in the drugs case, so I don't really have a full position on it. I can't really speak much about the drug issue. Really. The prime function of schooling should be equip the future generations to find jobs. I wouldn't say the prime function. It should be a bigger function than it is. I mean, seriously. I think general education itself, not just finding jobs, but living a normal life, like paying tax, how to basically live life. So, general education that actually matters. So instead of prioritizing English and maths, we prioritize English, maths, and new lessons about experience and all that. It's just... So I think it should be bigger on the list, but I don't think it should be the prime function. I think it should be a bigger function than it is, but not a prime one. People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce. I'm autistic. What do you think I'm going to put? What? I'm gonna the most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline. Strongly disagree. There are no savage and civilized peoples. There are only different cultures. Now this one I'm gonna get a lot of hate for. I know it says peoples, but after that it says cultures. It says cultures and peoples. But I hate the phrase, there are only different cultures. Because, no there are not. I've heard this so many times. So many people. When I say it's barbaric that there are still countries which have the death penalty for being gay. I've heard some idiots who say they're not homophobic say there's lots of countries who do that. It's just their culture. Fuck off, man. No. I'm actually going to strongly disagree with this. That doesn't mean I'm racist. It just means that I believe in rights. And if a culture is stoning gay people to death or not allowing women to vote or drive, then it's not a good culture. I'm sorry. There are not only different cultures. Those who are able to work and refuse opportunity should not expect society's support. Strongly disagree. When you are troubled, it is better not to think about it, but to keep busy with cheerful things. Agree. First generation immigrants can never be fully integrated within their new country. Strongly disagree. What's good for most successful corporations is always ultimately good for us. Strongly disagree. The broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding. No! I think it should. I think that we should have more support for this. I strongly disagree. I understand why people would agree with this. I just don't. It's a weird question. Next page. Let's see this. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counter-terrorism. Our civil... I'm gonna strongly disagree. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay process in a democratic political system. Strongly disagree. There is absolutely no pros to a one-party state. The fact that they will even answer that is stupid. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need to be worried. Strongly disagree. Everyone needs to be worried. The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes. Disagree, but not strongly. The death penalty, I barely think, is ever justified. Very rarely. I understand why people would justify it, but would try to justify it because some people feel really strongly. Like, if someone kills your wife, for example, you would want them to be put to death. No matter if they really deserve it or not. But I think that the death penalty is, in general, wrong. But still. In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded. Agree. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything should not be considered art at all. Disagree. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation. Strongly disagree. We need to make people change. We need to rehabilitate people into society. I think we should obviously still punish people, but we should make people change more. It is a waste of time to rehabilitate some criminals. Okay, technically yes, but I think we should always try. I think we should always try, even when it's a serial killer child rapist, where it's got like a 0.1% chance. I think we should always try, at least, even if it does absolutely nothing. So I'm gonna disagree, but definitely not strongly. The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist. Disagree, but I do think they're all important. But I think the writer and the artist, it came from them. It is more important than them. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers. Strongly disagree. I am not a sexist. Multinational companies are unethically exploiting the plant genetic resources of developing countries. Agree. Making peace with your establishment is an important aspect of maturity. No! We don't have to make peace with your establishment. Hey, guess what? I'm 18. I've only come mature like a couple of months ago, and officially. And I haven't made peace with your establishment at all! You don't need to make peace with your establishment. You don't need to. You need to make peace with reality. Suppose. But you need to view reality of what you want it to be. Astrology accurately explains many things. Strongly disagree. You cannot be moral without being religious. Strongly disagree. Charity is better than social security as a means of helping the generally disadvantaged. Disagree. They're both effective in certain situations, but I think social security is generally in most situations more effective. But I do think they can both be effective. Charity is more unreliable than social security. They both can be unreliable at some time, but charity, the money could literally go anywhere. I hope it doesn't, because I do donate. I have donated to a lot of charities, just in hope, because they are sometimes successful, but sometimes they can't be. Like Peter and Autism Speaks. Save their charities. Anyone who calls Autism Speaks a charity doesn't know anything about Autism Speaks. Some people are naturally unlucky. Disagree. It's important that my child's school instills religious values. Strongly disagree. I think religious schools should be outlawed. They should be banned and never ever mentioned from society again. They are schools for indoctrination, abuse, and basically strictness. It is just a way to indoctrinate more kids into a religion. Basically, and spread bigotry and hate. I know so many people who've been abused and assaulted by not just the students but the teachers as well in religious schools. They should be illegal. Not a joke. Sex outside marriage is usually immoral. Strongly disagree. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption. Strongly agree. Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population. Strongly agree. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state. Strongly agree. No one can feel naturally homosexual. Strongly disagree. What a stupid question. These days, openness about sex has gone too far. I'm gonna disagree with this for the same reason I disagree with the fusion of entertainment question. I think people are exaggerating the openness about sex. Sex education is actually not that bad. I think the parents are actually responsible for this, where they are too open to their kids about sex and they're teaching them from age 5. I've seen this before. I learned about sex very young. I didn't learn about sex that young, but I learned about it I think at like 8 or 9, and even then I didn't properly learn about it until just when I was like 12 to 13, so it's just a weird thing to say. Now let's see where I stand. Am I as left as I've always considered myself to be? Or am I actually super right-wing? I don't think so. In the introduction, we explained the inequality. Don't care. Where am I? Yeah, I am pretty left. Not as left as some people here, but it does look like I am pretty libertarian left, according to this basic test, which I haven't explained my problems with. I've just been answering the questions and talking about them, because I'm not really ranting about this question. This is more like talking about issues, not my thoughts on the quiz itself. I can do a rant on this test, but honestly, it would just be pointless. I think it would be better to just sum up my views on this a lot, and I hope this has been enough for you. I'll see you later.